them all and just how I remembered it.
Wait, so if you don't trust the CIA or you don't trust like our institutions, then what do you trust? Wait, so if you don't trust the CIA or you don't trust like our institutions, then what do you trust?
The last track, I think I only blinked once. I skipped lunch. Blinked twice. Christ, shut your eyes. Now open wide. Fascists took the nation and inflation took a supersize. It's sad to say your teachers couldn't quite make the ends collide. But now you'll probably get to see them on the weekends doing Uber drives. Say lube it with a little oil. One, it tastes expensive too. You'd be surprised how well it helps you open up your throat so you consume the lie of human rights that was sold to you by suits and ties, designer scents on plastic men with patient fangs and ancient vice. You know, the kind of greed that makes a person lose the sight of morals, so it's easier to sleep at night. It's easier to ease their minds and pick a foreign people we could demonize. If you take a sec to sink into how war criminals think, you'll know you'd never want to see inside. If every man's an open book to look within, theirs are bound in human skin and not designed for human eyes. They are wearing human skin, but they can simply not be humanized. They aren't worth the lowest of the poor they swore to crucify. Holy sweet Geneva, there's a mass grave full of dead believers you called the police on cause you don't believe in squatters' rights. You believe the sanctity of human life is relative to human worth in terms of work and dollar signs. So listen when I say you need to find the light of day before it's too late to apologize. Like holy sweet Geneva, here's a mass grave you can colonize. Because you seem to love to talk about the spirit of America. But if you saw the spirit of this land's supposed character, I think that you'd be calling ICE. And I also think the actual America is truly represented by the call to ICE. Is represented best by the descendants of some immigrants bitching about the immigrants, snitching on some immigrants, then playing dumb and innocent like good little Christians when their neighbors get deported. Until they're screaming at the store that they waited 20 minutes more because the staff was short. Because some ordinary bigot started waging war on immigrants. And honey, we'll just keep deporting because like your first vote and each election since, it turned out that the man you are supporting ended up to just be twice the fucking bigot as the bigot that he wins against. But I was not among the herd. A single word from Biden stirred a tingle in the cynic sense. I knew that a vote for Joe was more like Reagan 2.0. I could smell that sarin smoke that choked around the river bend. And so I spoke about a living end, about an anchor thrown to drowning men, a democratic president, a country never found again. A man who marinated in the blood this land was founded in. A crime bill that contains sufficient lethal ends to drown us in. All written by a man who wears a crown of sins, who currently is sleeping in a bed of sins. And it's no wonder those who truly understand the meaning of democracy are not too keen to let us in. It's no wonder other countries can't conceive of skipping meals or missing rent or being on the streets because you can't afford your medicine. That's uniquely American. And Joe has proved to be the most disturbingly American of presidents. I shiver when I think of what's to come if he's the precedent. It's a wonder I can even function still to process all the rhymes through all the resonance. Bless my heart, I'm liminally reticent. Standing on a threshold of bone, ash, and sediment, near a faded marker claiming this to be the grave of all my sentiments. Exactly where I left them all and just how I remembered it. It's a wonder I can even function still to process all the rhymes through all the resonance. Bless my heart, I'm liminally reticent. Standing on a threshold of bone, ash, and sediment, near a faded marker claiming this to be the grave of all my sentiments. Exactly where I left them all, and just how I remembered it.
Wait, so if you don't trust the CIA or you don't trust like our institutions, then what do you trust? Wait, so if you don't trust the CIA or you don't trust like our institutions, then what do you trust?
Fuck.
Wait, so if you don't trust the CIA or you don't trust like our institutions, then what do you trust?
Said, thank you, Obama, for life in the red. Thank you for DAP and a pat on the head. Thank you for saving the banks as millions are drowning their debt. Thank you for all of the fluff and the nothing you said. Thank you for proving we eat up identity politics. All of your policy better forgotten. Just tell us what books you read. Tell us what record was top of your playlist, turning a wedding to Day of the Dead. What Quavo song went along on a heavy rotation, bombing Iraqis in bed? When they told you that 90% of your kills are civilian, what Jill Scott chorus was stuck in your head? What put you at rest after such a long day of convincing a nation it wasn't so deeply misled, that you weren't just Reagan with New Age media training, who fed on our hopes like his daily bread, who preyed on the weak, who was never unwilling to serve you a speech to remind you the middle class needed to bleed, and you helped us succeed if you learned to accept it, and better yet, learn how to laugh as they bled. Round of applause. Laughter erupts. Mic gets dropped. It's the end of his set. And the crowd once hungry are now unstunned from the glow of celebrity, which is impressive, especially since they're contented to sit and be civil while all of the donors are fed. They thin out the herd by 1 million a week if it gives the elite an illusion of peace, like they're out of the path of the future we reap, and they won't be debris in the wake of its tread. The future is now, bathe in the sound, drown in the dread. Hide in the lounge, hire more guards at your gatehouse. Hire someone to come build you a safe house under your shed. Hide with your diamonds and files, the files you keep to yourself and the files you keep for the feds. Hide in the dark for a while and watch all the value regress. Watch all the worth of your wealth on this earth melt down in a pool with the rest of the cess. The affluence left over after the worldly collapse of the affluent. After it's back to the dirt with the rights of their birth, privileged smirks and their unpaid taxes, #blast. This has all been a nightmare, capitalism was only a test. So you need not weep and you need not repeat what the liberals said. We will not be saved by people who say that the water is safe while they look in your face and they pantomime sips of lead. Honey, nobody's lifting us out of this mess.
That's how it goes. We won't open our eyes. So we're the last ones to know. We're the last ones alive. Kept our enemies close. Wondered why we don't thrive while we're grasping at ghosts, counting backwards from 5, counting backwards from 5, counting backwards from 5.
Count back from 5. The theater on fire, the cast on strike. The studio stock starts taking a dive. The contract's tossed and they're gone with the tide. The heads and execs, their hands are tied. We can't pump this dreck and treat you right. But what do you expect from the industry type who survive by the leeching of bodies and minds? From those who original thoughts never seem to find. So they're gonna reboot ALF before your wages rise. And it gives cause to pause and reflect on the times. If they're losing control of their fools and their mimes, when all those obedient actors who grew their careers by averting their eyes are now holding the line, along with the authors of countless scripts that strengthen the hand of that corporate grip, squeezing our throats till we take the pen and we accept and consent to the corporate drip, till you're all up to date on your pharma du jour, till you got a healthy support for the war on your lips. And now you know that the advertisers need more than a rerun summer full of flashback clips. Enter the scans from the year before, all the days of de-aging and mapping the face, and the hours of actors recording their voices are links in the chains that will bind them in place. Now all of those shows are so easy to make. When they got a drone they control that needs no break, it can bend, it can break, and it's cheaply replaced enough up-to-date films all in one take. And those studios bank on us doing our duty, unhinging our jaws and digesting the fakes. Because they know that we'll love how synthetic it tastes. Watch as they edit your features without any trace. Not that there's anything you could do anyway. Now watch as they show you a movie you used saying shit you would never say. Dystopia boldly accelerates. Maybe you're only a mold, something to fill with a clone, something that Elon would celebrate. Something they own, something they program and code, something that's woefully able to know it's exanimate. Cause it doesn't feel touch over top of the laminate. You will not feel an emotion, but they will not scan and examine it. You and the other consumer contaminants fed on the federal diet of Kiev, Havana, and Tiananmen. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment. I can't be the only one weighing the pros of abandonment.
Where did you think we'd go? Love, there's nowhere to lie. Guess it's not who you know, more it's what you can hide. Like we're chained to the floor, they're streaming us live while we're watching the war, counting backwards from 5, counting backwards from 5, counting backwards from 5, counting backwards. I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days, and I still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to say. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe? Were you safe?
Fresh off the masses, the brand new cancerous growth, who has come here to vie for your vote. Come here to cry at the camps and to mourn at the shore for the bodies that float by the wreck of an immigrant boat. Then it's back to their luxury home, couple security booths and a moat. Couple cigars, little escargot, little booze and a soak. Just breathe in the steam and the smoke. Pink salt, lavender, candles are low. Shit, when you do what you do, gotta lighten the load. And he got a life of his own that's a sight to behold. And it's a lot to control, to decipher the code or to siphon the soul. The cost of a good night's sleep for the working elite is a bargain, no matter the toll. Worth any wager, and that comes straight from the mouth of the means to the goal that will swallow us whole. Ripe for the picking if you don't mind mold, and you know I don't. Maybe we're pleasantly prone, maybe we're taking a licking, compliantly ticking and ticking and ticking, but never explode. No, I don't deliver the prettiest image, but damn if it isn't an accurate vision of natural fission, of rage at the system and abject heartbreak, patiently waiting for any who will listen. That little blue bird who was watching your words is a federal carrier pigeon, a Langley first. It's a patient observer who hears what it wants and is trained for the worst. Oh, you got nothing to hide. They'll be the ones to decide that after they root through your purse, after they read all your text, after they raid your apartment, confiscate all of its contents, then conjure up evidence out of the air on a wing and a prayer and malicious intelligence nonsense. Any presumption of innocence long since gone, right along with your comforts and constants. Historically first they will come for the communists. So why in the fuck would I say I'm a communist? Well, it might be I love my community more than the monsters of opulence who are holding us hostage, who are vomiting promises. Might be I'm all done seeing our pensions and benefits harvested. Might be I'm all done watching the populace being disarmed in the guise of an armistice. Watching a woman collapse on the floor who will rise no more. She is wheeled out the door and you're next in line for the pharmacist. If you can get me to vote, it's a hard no confidence. But part of the charm of deception is politics wearing the mask of incompetence. It's all in the art of austerity, darling. It's all in the slide of the providence. Until home is as wide as your cubicle height and is only as deep as your coffin is. Maybe I'm miles away from impatience, aching to break off the head of the snake where the capital lust, reptile brain, and the margin of profit is. Like off with his. Like off with his.
I guess this isn't such an awful place. Is that what you want me to say? You prove it's possible to sleep for days, and to still think you're right here awake. The cost of living isn't much to make, but God, it's so hard to save. And when they told you everything was safe, were you safe?
Who are these people?
Who are these people? What's up, everyone? We're here. It's Sunday. We're back. We took a week off, amazingly enough. Yes, we did. Hi, everyone. It's Indy. I got Reef over there in the fisheye lens. One of these days he'll actually. Oh, he's there. What's up, dude? All right.
What's up, dude?
So we have a ton of stuff to get to tonight. Holy crap. And more stuff keeps developing. Holy moly. All right, so yeah, let's I actually made like a whole slideshow. Hi everybody. DBC voter. I'm sorry, dude. Any chance of Panquake taking over. That's funny.
What?
That's funny. Anyway, this is How Do We Miss That? This is INN. It's Sunday night. It's 10 o'clock. And no, it's 10:07 already. All right. So we're going to start by this, getting to, of course, the support your independent networks, because you're going to find out why, and not that you don't already know, but we're going to talk even more about why, and deplatforming, decensoring, and everybody's trying to figure out what the hell do we do now. So we got that going on. Thankfully, we do have some of these wonderful people that have contributed and have supported INN and have supported indie left media and have supported independent media and independent art. From the Zago Brothers. Yes, we have the Zago Brothers art. That is the cartoon illustrations of all the Indie Media Award honorees. And I published all of them, basically, that we have for 2022 and 23. We're going to show a bunch of those tonight, too. So, yeah, support independent media for sure. All right. So, first of all, first story, and let me switch to this view because I like this view better. Independent Media Alliance. All right. Anybody know what this is? Anybody hear this? Did you hear about this, Reef?
No.
No.
Kind of. Derek Bros and
Whitney Webb. That's correct.
Whitney Webb.
Exactly. So,
yeah,
kind of interesting. And I didn't actually bring up the parallel, but this sounds similar to the concept and idea behind the network that you're watching this on right now. But this is awesome to hear and see, and encouraging that, A, we were in the right direction and that people are seeing what we're seeing and thinking they need to do the same. This week, now this was published at offguardian.com, which is also an Indie Media Award honoree. There's a bunch of them, and I'm going to show you who all of them are that are part of this alliance. I didn't hear that if you played it, but
yeah, I'm working on all that.
Okay, well, I got this one. For immediate release, announcing the Independent Media Alliance, written by Derek Bros. And TLAV, Ryan Christian also wrote something. I like what Derek wrote. Today, we're thrilled to announce the creation of the Independent Media Alliance, or IMA, a collaborative effort focused on promoting objective, fact-based media from a diverse team of journalists, podcasters, and writers. Our emphasis will be on countering narratives currently being seeded within the alternative media space, including but not limited to the false two-party paradigm, opium in politicians, support for imperial wars, fifth-generation warfare, and technocratic solutions to legitimate problems like digital IDs pitched as the only solution for immigration and voting fraud prevention, etc., right? We've seen all this kind of vernacular, this kind of language, right? The creation of IMA was initiated by Whitney Webb of Unlimited Hangout, Ryan Christian of The Last American Vagabond, both are Indie Media Award honorees, and Derek Bros of the Conscious Resistance Network. Webb, Christian, and Bros have invited more than a dozen journalists, podcasters, and media outlets to join their alliance. The current roster includes several other Indie Media Award honorees and others who I'm sure you're well aware of. Hakeem Anwar, who I'm not familiar with. Catherine Austin Fitz, we certainly know her from the Solari Report. Jason Bassler from the Free Thought Project, I remember him. I know him pretty well. He's on Substack. Jason Burmis, we know Burmis pretty well. Both Kat Black and Kit Knightley from Off Guardian, which is one of the honorees. James Corbett from the Corbett Report. Ian Davis. Richard Grove from Grand Theft World. Rovi Morek from Geopolitics and Empire. Right, we've got Steve Poikonen from Slow News Day and AM Wake Up, Charlie Robinson from Macroaggressions, and also Union of the Unwanted, and Carrie Welder, who I'm not as familiar with. So those are the dirty dozen, the first dozen, more than a dozen. The IMA will take several actions in pursuit of this goal, including regular panels and debates featuring alliance members and guests, collaborative and joint investigations, and launching a new decentralized media network to host relevant content from alliance members. The IMA will also be partnering with decentralized platform Odyssey to ensure that the content cannot be easily censored. So yes, I'm highly encouraged by some of the best. Nick, I would trying to be like INN. Hell, if it's anywhere close to INN, look, if INN can achieve anywhere close to whatever these guys do, I can assure you, with the size of the audiences that they all are bringing in, the cachet and the backgrounds that they all have, Richard Grove is damn good. So is Solari Report. Agreed, Dr. Nick. So, I got so excited I forgot to even hit this.
Who are these people?
See, I meant
if you hit anything.
I meant to do that beforehand. Yeah, I turned off the sound to you, but you'll hear that next.
Yeah.
So okay, anyway, next quick hit after the Indie Media Alliance, which is really cool. So these are the Indie Media Award honorees that are part of the Indie Media Alliance, Independent Media Alliance. I don't want to keep mixing those two things. T-Lab, the Last American Vagabond, which actually has 6 members to it. Corbett Report, Whitney Webb, Unlimited Hangout, Off Guardian, and that's Kit Knightley down in the right corner. That's Charlie Robinson down next to Kit. So we've got all of those already, and that's just the current members. And they're going to be, I'm sure, expanding, and we're going to have new honorees for 2024. So there may be more in there. The next thing I wanted to talk about was the bail bond, not bail bond, but the Atlanta
Barry Bonds.
No, not Barry Bonds
Bondsman.
either. The Atlanta Solidarity Bail Fund for the Stop Cop City organizers who have been persecuted and considered domestic terrorists, though all they did was protest Cop City being built in a protected forest. We got like a sliver of good news, but of course it's got to be wrapped in crap. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But the good news is that a spokesman for the Atlanta Solidarity Fund confirmed that the Georgia Attorney General's office will drop all money laundering charges against the 3 organizers. Yay! 3 organizers of the Atlanta Solidarity Fund were charged with 1 count each of money laundering and charity fraud in May of 2023, following a SWAT-style raid of their house by the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, and the APD, the Atlanta Police Department. Those organizers and 58 others were later charged with racketeering in August of 2023.
Which is crazy. When you think about how much civil forfeiture the Atlanta Police Department has taken part in, them accusing anyone of money laundering is pot calling kettle.
Bonkers.
For sure.
Yes. So
ridiculous.
Now, hearings in the racketeering case against the Solidarity Fund organizers and 2 other people were scheduled to begin Tuesday, with prosecutors and defense attorneys preparing to make arguments on various motions filed since the case began. The racketeering and charity fraud charges are not expected to be dropped. And that's the wrapped in crap. Yeah, great. They dropped the money, and that's the headline, is they dropped the money laundering charges. Except they're still going to be charged with racketeering and charity fraud. But there were so many money laundering charges, it looks like, wow, 14 of the counts got dropped out of the 18, except the 4 that mattered. Deputy Georgia Attorney General John Fowler dropped counts 4 through 14 from the racketeering indictment during Tuesday's hearing. Those counts involve money transfers from the ASF organizers and claims that the 3 posted to an anti-cop website, which they didn't. Okay, and it's actually 4 through 18. So it was actually, 14 counts that got dropped. But still, they're going to be charged with racketeering and charity fraud. Unbelievable.
And racketeering if they made that a thing.
Unreal.
You know?
All right, next. Labor notes. Now, I was even hesitant to mention this, but it is noteworthy because Teamsters and Amazon drivers we've been talking about for a while. These are other Amazon drivers that work for the DSPs, or the delivery service providers, the third parties. They're now going into their bosses and saying, we're unionizing. And they made an announcement. Now, this is, again, labor notes is kind of linked with labor management more so. And I don't really like where they are, but they're tied to big labor and union heads that are against corporate, like the workers are, but not quite in the same way. So these workers I stand in solidarity with that do want to unionize. I still think that this was part of an overall Teamsters effort that included undermining the independent effort of JFK 8 and Chris Smalls, and then acting like they were coming in and doing him a favor and saving him and getting him a deal and making something happen and look good on the way out. This whole thing stinks to me. All right. But the story goes that, of Sean O'Brien, but hundreds of Amazon drivers at a delivery station in Queens, New York, marched on their bosses today to announce that they're joining the Teamsters. They're demanding the logistics giant recognize their union and negotiate a contract. I've heard that record before. And I just clipped a couple things from this article. This was one of the women that they spoke with, so it's only one person's opinion. She says they had no choice but to hear us. Workers followed the managers with their cell phone cameras, recording and papers in hand, surrounding them from all sides. We were screaming and shouting out to let them know we're here and we want to be heard. And after a while, they finally calmed things down, and they were talking over each other. They got so excited because they finally got enough orange vests in there to listen to them and listen to what they were saying. Right. Then they started to take turns and go around the room, and each one of them, it was almost like an intervention. Here's my story. Here's why I wanted to, and here's why we're unionizing. But most importantly is that the drivers are part of Amazon's 4,400 delivery service partners program, meaning that they're nominally employed by contractors even while Amazon retains full control. They don't really work for Amazon. They work for a third party. These delivery drivers in Queens are employed by 3 separate DSPs. Through DSPs, Amazon says it employs 390,000 drivers, but again, not really Amazon employees. And that's as big as the UPS fleet. All right. So the Teamsters see this, and they see that they can double their numbers. If they can figure out a way to organize and unionize the Amazon drivers under the Teamsters, they double their numbers. So they want to do this, and they've been looking at doing this for years. Forget the Amazon warehouses. This is what the Teamsters really want. I mean, they'd love to unionize the warehouses too. They want the drivers, because that's where their bag is already, is in unionizing drivers. All right. Amazon surpassed UPS in the parcel business in April. 695 delivery stations, 577 warehouses, including airport hubs. Crazy. All right. So that's Amazon and Teamsters. But there was another thing that happened with the Teamsters this week that I wanted to bring that I thought was also interesting that everybody seemed to get wrong. So frustrating. It's so frustrating. I was so happy when I first saw this because they said, we're going for none of the above. And nobody's been more of an advocate for none of the above than me. Look, it's in my friggin' handle. All right. I love it. And I said initially, this is the way, because I saw the press release, no endorsement for U.S. president. Woohoo! All right. Finally, a labor union pushing back and saying neither of these candidates are good enough. Neither of them are going to give us a thing. And that's kind of what they said, except once you look a little closer. All right. Now,
looks like we got ourselves a reader.
Yeah, we somewhere around here. So, quote, the union's extensive member polling showed no majority support for Vice President Harris and no universal support among the membership for President Trump. So wait a minute. Just reading that sentence alone from the press release, that's a double fucking standard. Like, wow. So basically, universally, it would have to be Trump for the union to endorse that. But only if it was a majority would they have endorsed Harris, and they didn't get either, so they said neither. Wait, what? That's pretty weak while standing strong. What do I mean? Well, the Teamsters, for whatever reason, weirdly enough, decided to be transparent about the whole thing. And they said, we've done the most extensive polling of our membership. Okay, and we got 21,000 results. They have 1.3 million members, and they conducted these polls for a fucking year. And they got 21,000, and they're bragging and spiking the football like they just won the Super Bowl. Wait, what? Okay, so what you can't really see because it's not zoomed in is that this says that between April 19th and July 3rd, the Teamsters held town hall straw polls when Biden was still in the race, and Biden was beating Trump. Okay. But any poll that they're showing that happened since they made the switcheroo and they anointed Harris instead of Biden shows Trump up by 25 to 27 points electronically and over the phone. Now, most of the presidential polls that you see from the media sample 1,000 to 1,500, maybe 2,000 people. Not 21,000 specific workers that belong to a specific union. This is a large enough sample set.
The numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you.
Big Papa Pump, baby. All right?
don't say that. You're not allowed to. No, those words cannot be in the same.
That's his name. Don't wear it out, baby. Come on, Come on, this you have another Scott Steiner sound effect. I know you've got in there.
I got 141 and 2/3 chance of winning.
Yep, there we go. I knew one of them was there. All right. Yes. By the way, check out Pro Wrestling Talk with Angel Rivera and Miss Witchy Perfect Saturday nights, 8:00 on INN Eastern Time. As long as we're dropping the wrestling sound bits, and we're talking about pro wrestling here. We're talking about pro wrestling here. All right. The Teamsters, man, they find every way to fuck up. Even when they're doing well, they don't do well. Like, guys, you had a layup here. First of all, your members are over almost 60% of your membership is saying they want Trump of the people that were surveyed and the people that responded.
A Scottie Pippen layup at that.
Like that. That's a big number. Especially when it's a 27-point spread and you're deciding that it's duopoly and you're not counting any other candidate, which, oh yeah, by the way, more than 5% of the vote went to don't know or undecided on one of them or another candidate on the other. So that also, to me, had some significance. People that are talking about 5%, but that combines libertarian, PSA, a PSL, not a PSA, Greens, Cornell West, Booby Kennedy,
UAE,
all of them. All right, no, not the UAE. They're not running a candidate. They're not running a candidate. The UAE is not quite.
The WWF.
No, Israel is the only foreign country running a candidate this year, and they're running two of them.
They're running a couple. Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yep.
So that's our Teamsters thing. Okay. And now we get to some not so fun news. Dave DeCamp from Antiwar.com published this, and they put it on Instagram. I thought this was an excellent way to summarize it in one screen. Gaza Health Ministry releases the names of 710 infants under a year old killed by Israeli forces. And this unlike the BBC, unlike CNN, Antiwar.com, Indie Media Award honoree will tell you who did it and like it is and not sugarcoat it. Dave writes, Gaza's Health Ministry has released a 649-page document that lists the names of 34,344 Palestinians who have been killed by Israel's assault on the Gaza Strip. The document lists 11,355 children including 710 infants under the age of 1, as Palestinian babies have been killed throughout the genocidal campaign. The infants are listed on the first 14 pages of the document, of the 649 pages. So again, and that's last month after the 3-day-old twins were killed by Israeli forces. And I remember we talked about that, or maybe you guys did. The health ministry said the number of newborns killed since October 7th had reached 115. Newborn babies have also starved to death, and Israeli troops left 4 premature babies to die at the Al Nasser hospital last year with the incubators. Gaza's media office says more than 16,700 children have been killed by Israeli forces in Gaza. The list released by the health ministry includes the names of only those who have been fully identified. The ministry is still working to identify the remaining over 7,000 bodies it has counted, and said Monday that the death toll is currently at 41,226, but we've heard others like The Lancet and others put the count much, much higher, multiple times.
Way higher.
Like 10x almost, practically. They stopped really adding to the count 6 months ago almost, it feels like. And yeah, it's heartbreaking, but we have to talk about it and can't take our eye off of this. Speaking of Dave DeCamp, again, Indie Media Award honoree. That's his Zago Brothers illustration. I brought another piece that he wrote for Antiwar because he's full of good news this week. U.S. Navy Chief unveils plan to be ready for war with China by 2027. Yep, it's coming, folks. The military is getting ready. All right. And this one, it's short because it's a Dave DeCamp article. So thankfully we can bring the whole article and it's short. Chief of Naval Operations Admiral Lisa Franchetti, the highest ranking officer in the U.S. Navy, unveiled a plan on Wednesday to be ready for a war with China by 2027 as the U.S. military is preparing for a direct fight with Beijing despite the risk of nuclear war.
Yep.
The plan lays out goals to be reached by 2027, including making 80% of the naval force ready for combat deployments on short notice. Even though we covered 2 weeks ago with Kit Clarenberg that our aircraft carriers and Navy is effectively dead in the water, and sending an aircraft carrier group would result in nothing but the deaths of American soldiers and all of our ships sunk. So yeah, let's keep doing that. Franchetti told the Associated Press, we know that they're the biggest propagandists on earth, that she wants to increase combat readiness so that if the nation calls us, we can push the go button and we can surge our forces to be able to meet the call, because we don't have enough bases in Taiwan and the Philippines and Australia and Japan and the Marianas and Seoul, South Korea. May I continue? The plan lays out goals to be reached by 2020. So like I said, other goals include increasing recruitment because they've used all our soldiers up and they're on multiple deployments, improving Navy infrastructure because our infrastructure is shit just like everywhere, removing delays in ship maintenance, good luck with that because we have rotting, aging aircraft carriers, and increasing the use of drones and other autonomous systems. Yes, they want to murder people cowardly and remotely. Franchetti said that the U.S. is taking lessons from Ukraine's operations against Russia in the Black Sea and the U.S.'s new war against the Houthis in Yemen. U.S. Navy ships have battled the Houthis since January in what U.S. commanders have called the largest U.S. naval battle since World War II, but the campaign has failed to deter or stop Houthi attacks. Yes, because missiles from land to sea attacks are not something that our ships can really handle. Franchetti said that she's focusing on getting ready for war with China by 2027 because that is the year of President Xi told his forces to be ready to invade Taiwan. However, that idea
China.
however, that idea is only based on claims from U.S. intelligence officials, because we know they always tell the truth. And they definitely don't want to do anything to set up their defense contractor buddies, right?
Nope. He would never do that.
Nope. While China has ambitious goals for its military, there's no evidence of a direct order to be ready for an invasion of Taiwan by 2027. Earlier this year, Defense News reported that Xi raised the issue with President Biden when the two leaders met in San Francisco in November 2023, but of course, Mushbrain couldn't remember anything anyway. Recounting the meeting, a U.S. official said, Xi basically said, look, I hear all these reports in the United States of how we're planning for military action in 2027 or 2025. There are no such plans.
They're claiming that's when China's going to invade Taiwan, right?
Right. Well, that's what Xi is saying. He's already hearing that that's what the military is telling this. Because, of course, they've tapped into all of our phones and they're listening and they know exactly what the generals are saying. He says, no one has talked to me about this, Xi Bear. All right. The Defense News report noted how the claims about a Chinese invasion of Taiwan have helped funnel money to a U.S. military buildup in the Asia Pacific. Nah. You mean the defense contractors are going to get rich off of a buildup because they're fear-mongering about a potential war with China? No way, they would never do that. The claim about a 2027 invasion was first made in 2021 by a retired admiral, Phil Davidson, the former head of U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, who, again, let me guess, he's now working as a lobbyist or a board member for one of the defense contractors. That would be my guess. I don't know. Yeah. I have not looked that up. General Dynamics, or Northrop Grumman, one of them. Quote, the concern it generated earned a nickname, the Davidson window, shorthand for the near-term threat of an attack on Taiwan, because he made it up. Defense News reported that, of course, that changed how Congress spent money. The Pacific Deterrence Initiative doesn't have its own budget, but in the last few years, the U.S. has spent more on its forces in the region, which, again, we know. This is the long game, is that they know that they're preparing for war with China. Now, Indie Media Awards, like I said, these are some of the plaques or the, whatever. These are going to be at the headers or at the top of all of the Indie Media Award pages. I'm going to provide these to all the honorees themselves to use however they see fit. This is for Dave DeCamp. We've also got one for Antiwar.com. These are, again, illustrations by Zago Brothers, including the logos, which is really cool. That we really appreciate that. So if you really, again, please support independent media and support independent art. There are some links and ways to do so. And the money for the last month or so has been going toward the Zago Brothers. There's actually a little bit more than 12% of our goal there, which is $240, because just this morning somebody was really nice and I got $100 PayPal, so that will be going over to them. And a couple other people have contributed as well, but I still owe Zago a few $100 towards all of the illustrations. He's been nice enough to kind of let us pay it down as we collect it, and he's very supportive of independent media as well. And we're starting to see already that, like, Connor Freeman from Antiwar and Kyle Anzalone, again, honoree from the initial class, was they've used them now for their profile pics on Twitter, which is really cool. Appreciate that, and we appreciate that. So, all right, let's get to some chats, because I think, next we're getting to the articles I want to get to. Sean the Accord Lord, here to cackle on the kick. Thank you so much. Sean is one of the big supporters, as is Anna Mayers. Good to see you. Don't know where it's hosted. Best clip yet. Independent Review. Independent Review is actually on. He's everywhere, by the way. Ryan. He puts his show up on Rockfin, Rumble, well, he on Steve's Rockfin, but he also has a channel on Rumble, Odyssey, and he's got a Substack also. So you can check that out there. He does. He has a website. I think he got rid of the website. Yeah, the islands on islands that don't even show on a map. Yes, we do have bases on islands that don't show on a map in the South Pacific. Good to see everybody here. Golden Monarch, none of the above, not even Indy. That's right, not even me. Don't vote for me.
Yep.
That's right. Don't vote for me at all. Max RJ, where is Katie? Katie's not there. But I've got my own issues and that's okay.
And won't be.
Yeah. But that's another we can have another conversation about that another time. All right. So
we don't have to.
Another time.
No.
So or not.
No. Yeah.
So independent media is under attack, as we all know. No, not Kameshwari Kate. Kameshwari Kate, you're cool. We love you. You're cool. Max, I think, was asking about a different Katie. Anyway, Red Media, Red Stream was personally called out, as was Africa Stream this week, by Butcher Blinken. All right. And they had something to say about that. And then they weren't the only ones. So let's start with Red. They put out a press release. So we're going to read this on September 13th, not the 21st night of September, but on the 13th day of September. Thank you, Earth, Wind, and Fire. U.S. Secretary of State.
Remember.
That's right. Antony Blinken falsely accused Red of being part of an information war between the imperialistic blocs of the West and East. We are accused of being part of a covert operation, quote unquote, designed to, quote, push Kremlin-produced content and messaging around the world. Furthermore, we're accused of manipulating the outcomes of democratic elections in the United States and around the world. First and foremost, we categorically reject these entirely false claims. We do not need to be lectured by Butcher Blinken on freedom of expression while he is complicit in a genocide in Palestine that has killed more than 40,000 people and over 125 journalists to date. We don't need any government or intelligence service to express our deep disbelief in this capitalist system that allows crimes against humanity to occur in Palestine, Ukraine, Sudan, Congo, and across the world as we watch in real time. The perpetrators of these crimes are not only the US, Russia, China, or the EU. It is every individual, every state, every media outlet, NGO, and organization that colludes in keeping this deadly system alive. You are all responsible. We don't need you bet. We don't need to lift a finger vis-a-vis elections anywhere. And that is Reef's number one main point. And that is the reason why I printed this and brought it and clipped it. We don't need to lift a finger vis-a-vis elections anywhere. The capitalist system is killing the planet under the weight of its own contradictions, not due to any antagonistic actor's role in bourgeois elections. None of the above, motherfuckers. Yep. None of the above. We have much more to say, but for now, let's be clear about where this attack against us began. Since October 7th, we have been at the forefront of covering Germany's horrifying crackdown on pro-Palestinian voices, a crackdown that has shocked the world, along with UN officials and human rights organizations like Amnesty International. We knew there was great risk in covering this topic in a country that is one of the leading collaborators in the genocide, but there was simply no way we could look away or stand silent. In May of 2024, the German newspaper leading the criminalization of Palestine solidarity, Tagesspiegel, falsely accused us of organizing massive pro-Palestinian protests in Germany a claim we have already debunked. Fast forward to September 13th, the U.S. State Department not only repeated this absurd and false claim, but it used it as evidence that we are part of a covert operation. Let's be clear. If Red did not exist, the unprecedented and powerful protests in Germany and around the world against the genocide in Palestine would still have taken place. The only difference is that fewer people around the world would have known about them, something that would have been very convenient for Butcher Blinken, Germany, Tagesspiegel, and all of those complicit in the genocide in Palestine. What the U.S. government and Tagesspiegel don't understand is that they are the cause of these protests, and they will continue to be the targets of dissent as long as they enable and actively support this genocide. Blinken may have put a target on our backs, but let's not forget that it was a newspaper, Tagesspiegel, which loaded the gun. We hold them personally responsible for any harm to our staff, who will continue to be inspired to raise their voices by the brave, wonderful people who take to the streets every day to make this world a better place. Hell yeah, Red. Hell yeah. We stand in solidarity with them too. They are not Russian bullshit propaganda. They stand against the Russians as much as they stand against the United States and against Great Britain and Australia and against China. This is nonsense. This is a witch hunt. This is setting up to Russiagate the country and to call everybody that has any kind of dissident voice a domestic terrorist, to shut them down. A couple other Indie Media Award honorees. MintPress News published it through popular resistance. Okay, which is where I picked it up. But this is Robert Inlakesh. You guys have read a lot of his stuff on INN News. Check some of those out.
Yep.
He also mentions that African Stream was one of the latest media to face U.S. bans, right? And that the head of Redfish, or Red, who was regarding the allegations of ties to Redfish and RT, Dogru, who is the CEO of Red, dismissed the claims, stating that the only basis for such accusations is that some employees previously worked at Redfish. Dogru drew a comparison, though a little bit extreme, arguing that just as one cannot assume Germans today are Nazis because their families had Nazi affiliations, one cannot make the same assumption about Red due to former employment connections. I think that's a bit of a stretch, because it's still the same person employed at different places. But he further criticized Tagesspiegel, suggesting that their alleged Nazi past might influence their support for the Israeli state's actions in Palestine, because, of course, they like the behavior. Shortly after the U.S. State Department's allegations, Red and African Stream were banned from Meta and YouTube without detailed explanations. When asked about the impact of these actions, Dogru expressed concerns that the company might be forced to close. He feared that he could be arrested and charged with foreign intelligence activities, which could lead to imprisonment. He emphasized that their only crime, quote unquote, was conducting journalism that challenged Western imperialist narratives.
Right to jail, right away.
And again, popular resistance, as well as MintPress News, Indie Media Award honorees. Support them. There's their links, popularresistance.org and mintpressnews.com. Again, if you go to indiemediaawards.com or .substack.com, you'll be able to see a page with links for all of the honorees for 2022 and 2023. But not only did those two write about the what was happening here, Red and Robert Inlakesh, our friend the Dissident also wrote about African Stream, and I grabbed the a tweet from them from the other day, on Friday. First, he puts that the Biden administration tried to shut down an independent media outlet, okay, with evidence-free Russiagate allegations, which is exactly what Red is claiming. That these are evidence-free Russiagating. You're calling us, you're saying that we have former employees who used to work for Russia, RT, or Sputnik, or founded the company, but there's no link to Russia now. So the dissident states that in the latest blow to free speech, Blinken has accused the independent outlet African Stream without evidence of being run by RT. What we also found is that not only did YouTube and Meta shut down African Stream, but Stripe. We've talked about Stripe and their power over payment processing within the digital world and for content creators. Stripe also has decided to close out African Stream's account. So now they have no way to earn on Twitter. And they have no other platform to publish to. Not cool. So support African Stream if you can somehow, some way. I'm sure there's somewhere on their website to donate directly. Also, the Dissident, look, all these independent outlets are struggling. I'm getting emails from Truth Out, like daily, just hitting the panic button. We need money or we're going to have to shut down. And we've been around a long time and we don't want to have to do that, obviously. So, right. There's a bigger crunch than I've seen in 4 years on it. And what's funny is that government money, as well as private money, and we covered this in one of the earliest episodes of How Do We Miss That, what was called Good News or Good Something, that was literally funded by George Soros and Reid Hoffman. Yeah. There has been billions injected into the quote-unquote independent media space by government and by big money billionaires to try to flood the waters with corporate duopoly nonsense that serves capitalism primarily, so that they can drown out the actual independents that are out there. And then we get to what Israel just pulled. This morning, now, we covered back in, I think it was April, when Al Jazeera in Gaza was shut down, or in Jerusalem was shut down, and they confiscated all the equipment and they shut down the stream. And that just happened in Ramallah in the West Bank this morning again. So Al Jazeera breaking news this morning, 9 o'clock Eastern. Al Jazeera denounces Israeli armed raid on Ramallah office and vows to continue coverage of Gaza and the occupied Palestinian territories. And I blew this up a little bit bigger, so hopefully you can read it. I'll read it out. In the early hours of Sunday morning, Israeli occupation forces raided Al Jazeera Media Network's office in Ramallah in the occupied West Bank and ordered its immediate closure. This action follows a decision by Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's cabinet in May 2024 to shut down Al Jazeera's operations within Israel. The network vehemently condemns and denounces this criminal act by the Israeli occupation forces. Al Jazeera reject the draconian actions and the unfounded allegations presented by Israeli authorities to justify these illegal raids. Al Jazeera reaffirms its unwavering commitment to continue reporting on the war in Gaza and the ongoing occupation of the Palestinian territories and the regional escalation. The raid on the office, and seizure of our equipment is not only an attack on Al Jazeera, but an affront to press freedom and the very principles of journalism, which we know they don't care about. These oppressive measures are clearly intended to prevent the world from witnessing the reality of the situation in the occupied territories and the ongoing war on Gaza and the devastating impact on innocent civilians. Despite these egregious attempts to stifle Al Jazeera's voice and sever Al Jazeera's reporting to the world, the network remains steadfast in its mission to report the truth with integrity, even under the most challenging and dangerous circumstances. Al Jazeera will not be intimidated or deterred by efforts to silence its coverage. Israel's ongoing suppression of the free press is blatantly aimed at concealing its actions in the Gaza Strip and the occupied West Bank in contravention of international and humanitarian law. Israel's direct targeting and killing of journalists, along with arrests, intimidation, and threats, will not deter Al Jazeera from its commitment to coverage. Al Jazeera urges all organizations advocating for media freedom and human rights, along with all other concerned entities, to condemn these repeated attacks on journalists and the press by Israel, and to demand accountability for those seeking to bury the truth under the rubble of war. Agreed. The network holds Netanyahu's government personally responsible for the safety of its journalists and will pursue all available legal channels through international legal institutions to protect both its rights and its journalists, as well as the public's right to information. Okay, I mean, yes, and they're right. I don't know what kind of recourse they're going to have anywhere. You know, look, they went to the ICC and the ICJ, and they've gotten arrest warrants issued for Netanyahu and Gallant and Smotrich, and nothing's happened. So,
we're fucked.
You know, Misty always says, I think just about every morning I've seen Misty since October 7th tweet, fuck Israel. And after this, again, fuck Israel. That's bullshit. And Dr. Nick says that nothing will happen. Also correct in that Al Jazeera, unfortunately, will finally get back to me about that unnecessary copyright strike. I hope so, but I'm not counting on it because they haven't. And I think we have less than 30 days until it comes off at this point. We've been sitting on it and held under hostage of threat of losing our channel for one further copyright strike now for the last 60 plus days. So
like a 20 second video.
Nice. All right. So,
you know,
speaking of, and let me go back here so that thing will come across. Accord Lord. Oh, dude, thank you so much. One of the biggest supporters of our channel. We really appreciate that. Here's them putting it out. Criminal act. Al Jazeera denounces the Israeli armed raid on the Ramallah office. That's the order that was given to shut it down for 45 days. Why? Because they published inconvenient truth, effectively. All right. Yep. So, again, talking about stuff like this is why we also are demonetized. You can be like Sean, and if you have some extra loose change to sitting in the couch, hook us up. Buy us a coffee at co-fi.com/Indie News Network. Cash App is also the fastest way, easiest way to get it to us. Do Rumble rants. My channel, youtube.com/IND Left News is actually monetized, and you can actually leave a super chat over there. Still trying to get the $50
the
so I can get.
is there.
Yes, it is. It's still there. Same thing, you know. For some people, their Rockfin money is too, and we're going to get to their Rockfin money. And what happened with Rockfin, and that's kind of where I wanted to go final and close it out. But before that, I got another article that you know who these people are. Yeah, kick the big pharma pills. I don't know which big pharma pills we're talking about, but that would be nice if you can. Again, Sean hooked it up. $20. Thank you so much. It really supports independent media. We need it more than ever, like I say every week. All right. Yeah. So along the same lines of what Israel is up to, Kareem, and I think most people know Kareem from BetBeat Media. You've probably seen him with Nick over at RBN. Nick has had him on several times. He writes a Substack, and he also is working on getting back to doing live streaming and interviews. And he wrote this up this week, and it's not exactly the happiest article ever. It talked about the pagers and beep beep and what happened there.
And beep beep, Jesus.
That's what all the fucking Zionists. That's how they've been laughing about it. And he says we are sleepwalking into dystopia, and he of course uses the Martin Niemöller famous quote about first they came for the socialists, and I didn't speak out because I wasn't a socialist, right? And there was no one left to speak for me. He says, for decades, the Israeli regime has waged a campaign of terror across West Asia, undeterred by international law or human rights. Its latest atrocity, a massive terrorist attack on thousands of innocent Lebanese civilians using explosives planted in pagers, underscores just how brazen and dangerous this rogue state is to our world. On Tuesday, thousands of remotely detonated explosives distributed in pagers ripped through crowded Lebanese neighborhoods, injuring over 3,000 people and killing 9, I think that's up to 12 now, among them a 10-year-old girl. As journalist Rania Kalik outlined, these were indiscriminate attacks on civilian areas like grocery stores and hospitals, clear acts of terrorism. Israel deliberately rigged the devices to ring before detonating, ensuring maximum harm to whoever answered the call. He says this behavior is unsurprising from a regime responsible for the ongoing genocide in occupied Palestine, where most likely 10% of the Palestinian population has been exterminated, injured, or kidnapped since October 2023 alone. Yet, the West has been sheepishly silent, with the U.S. State Department outrageously suggesting that the murdered victims are legitimate targets. Western corporate media,
Fucking what?
Blinken,
like
all of them.
Like how can you even just like? I still don't understand. I've been looking at this story for like a week now, right? There's no way you could target that. 0 ways that is targeted. Like you are handing out a good that can be sent to anyone.
Oh no, they're
particularly
they're talking about the bombs that are being dropped on the Palestinian people being legitimate targets.
No, yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm talking about the pagers.
No, he's he there is still talking about. Not even that legitimate the murdered victims of Palestine are legitimate targets. All right, they're all Hamas. Western corporate media also celebrated the act of terror as an attack on Hezbollah pagers.
Mm-hmm.
As human rights lawyer Craig Mockber explains, he was famously the UN employee that resigned in disgrace after October 7th.
Yeah,
Israel's global killing spree constitutes grave breaches of international humanitarian law on multiple fronts. Targeting populated civilian areas is an indiscriminate attack prohibited by the Geneva Conventions. Using civilian devices like pagers as booby traps is also banned to prevent risk to non-combatants. Moreover,
happened.
Moreover, the act of terror wounded Iran's ambassador to Lebanon, an internationally protected diplomatic official, which we know how Israel doesn't care.
Immunity.
Diplomatic immunity. That dates anyone. What Lethal Weapon 2 reference there. Again, I hate to make any light of this, but we have to because it's just awful shit.
Yeah, I would just go insane if I couldn't. So. My apologies.
Mockber is right.
I'll be the immature one.
Right. So here's our descent into utter lawlessness, because Mockber is right to conclude that the Israeli regime, enabled by its Western backers, operates with complete impunity. we are watching the rapid descent of our world into utter lawlessness. In just 11 months, Israel has obliterated the international order through its unrestrained violence, from Gaza's genocide to assassinating Iranian and Syrian officials to bombing Yemen, Lebanon, and Syria. It commits these atrocities secure in the knowledge that pliable institutions like the UN Security Council and International Criminal Court are paralyzed by American vetoes and intimidation campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, they're strongly worded letters at this point. So
the Israeli trail of unchecked depravity has effectively given a green light to other state and non-state actors to employ similar terror tactics worldwide. If genocide, rape, torture, assassinations, and pager bombings are now acceptable for Israel, they become acceptable for anyone.
Yep.
So now our mafia empire, it doesn't end there. Israel's destructive influence extends far into domestic Western politics through its army of lobbyists and insidious operatives like Jeffrey Epstein, who notoriously weaponized sexual blackmail against prominent figures in the West, many of whom displayed a disturbing...
Go
ahead.
Go check out Friends of Diddy on the channel, and feel free to look into more of those connections between Israel and, I mean, sex trafficking, blackmail. I mean,
Ashton Kutcher, Epstein. Yep. All of it is linked. The music industry, Clive Davis, allegedly. Additionally,
Keep it secret. Keep it safe.
Right. Additionally, emboldened by their benefactors' impunity, Zionist street thugs have also taken to violently assaulting peaceful protesters denouncing the ongoing genocide in Gaza. Both on the streets of the United States, I saw the cops assaulting a 10-year-old boy waving a Palestinian flag today. This is, of course, also happening on college campuses where there is a massive effort to shut down protests against genocide and against the endowments funding Israeli weapons manufacturers that sell to Israel, perpetrating the genocide.
Yep.
Kareem continues, the media propaganda machine, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring this, is this paragraph right here. This is what I live for right here. The media propaganda machine is arguably the most insidious element, perpetually dehumanizing Palestinians and Arabs while whitewashing Israeli criminality. I'm going to read that again because that to me is that's it. That's everything right there. The media propaganda machine is arguably the most insidious element, perpetually dehumanizing Palestinians and Arabs while whitewashing Israeli criminality. Major Western outlets provide a platform for Israeli officials to spew hateful rhetoric uninterrupted, like Talk TV. Stop going on Talk TV.
Yep.
Yet Palestinian officials face constant disdain and mockery. Do you denounce Hamas? Do you denounce Hamas? Do you demand that the hostages be returned? Ask Bibi, does he demand that the hostages be returned? Israeli killings are discussed passively, as if Palestinians randomly perish, while Israeli casualties are portrayed as being murdered or slaughtered by Hamas. Alan McLeod has been all over this. Just look at his Instagram timeline, and he does he has to do a fixed it for you just about every day to something in one of the corporate media things that's whitewashing this. After Lebanese children were bombed, there was no solemn condemnations from the media. In fact, anyone questioning Israel's actions faces barrages of anti-Semitism smears. See Mary Kostakidis over in Australia right now.
God bless you.
Ruling classes prefer lack of consequences for Israel's atrocities. Yes, they certainly do, Kareem. In allowing this uninterrupted path of destruction to continue, the world is abandoning the minimal ethical foundations required for a functioning and just society. Israel's campaign of land theft, displacement, siege and slaughter against Palestinians and anyone it deems an enemy is permanently destroying any notion of sanctity of human life, territorial sovereignty, or self-determination. Big words. The global response has been toothless, with major powers like China and Russia standing idly by. Despite the international court ruling that all states must sever ties that aid and enable the occupation, most nations continue arming, funding, diplomatically shielding, and trading with Israel as it commits more brazen atrocities.
Snap out of it.
Shout out to Spain for actually doing the thing. Somewhat to Erdogan in Turkey. He's playing both sides, but he's at least spoken on behalf of the Palestinian people. I don't think that Putin is any advocate for the Palestinian people. I think that he'll get in line with Bibi. He always has. Kareem says, be under no illusion. The ruling classes worldwide may prefer the lack of consequences for Israel's atrocities because it's a prime opportunity to wield authoritarian control over their own populations with impunity in the future, including Putin. Now that Israel has demonstrated the ability to commit such acts without facing significant repercussions, why would they risk curtailing the very actions they may one day wish to emulate in order to tighten their grip on power? And a lot of people might be upset with me for saying Putin, but he hasn't done any. Look, I get that his hands are tied up with another war, but he could certainly open his mouth and say something, and he doesn't criticize Bibi.
If Spain, he has criticized, he has, first of all, like pretty recently multiple times, but I feel like if Spain wants to do anything, that they have a history of a particular thing that might help.
Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
You know? I hear that and I think Mel Brooks, the Inquisition. Will
you convite?
The Inquisition. Look out, sin. All right. The Dark Ages, he says, and this is the doomerism in Kareem, but I'm kind of where he is, and several of us are, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop fighting. We are heading towards a dark age where the powerful trample legal and moral boundaries with impunity. I think we're already there. A dystopian reality takes shape where torture, rape, genocide, and terrorism are no longer extreme abuses, but accepted tactics openly employed to subjugate dissent in our very own communities. Because whatever happens overseas, gets brought back and happens domestically. Brute force dictates the new rules of conflict. Morality be damned. No society will be spared this descent into sanctioned depravity unless we shatter the malicious group of those who believe that might makes right. Israel's unrelenting terrorism against its neighbors, its decades-old genocidal project in Gaza, its attacks on Iranian and Syrian officials, its chokehold on our political class, its media stranglehold, its blackmail projects, its vast network of torture and rape facilities that they're proud of and brag about, its weapons industries, its spy programs, and an endless stream of more depravities, including running the porn industry. These are all opening salvos ushering us into a bleak reality. They insidiously tear down the edifice of human rights and humanitarian laws so painstakingly built after the unimaginable horrors of World War II. Well, where did we go? World War II.
You scrolled. I've done that before.
It is crucial that we heed the prophetic words that Nelson Mandela uttered almost 3 decades ago. Quote, we know
too well that our freedom is incomplete without the freedom of the Palestinians.
Morgan Freeman. No, that was Mandela, not Morgan Freeman. Today shows how today shows how truthful and prophetic his words were. As we fail to fight for Palestine's freedom, their fate of subjugation and ethnic cleansing at the hands of the depraved Israeli regime is now becoming ours. This was a good piece by Kareem, man. I got to invite him on the show at one point. I think I'd like to sit down and have a conversation with him. He's a good dude. Oh, you know what? Before.
And now for something completely different.
Support independent media. We need it more than ever. Support the Indie Media Awards and support independent art with Zago Brothers. Thank you to Sean the Accord Lord, who did just that earlier today. And others who have also done the same. Golden Monarch says Putin and the digital ruble, which is nothing Palestine, let alone Russia needs, let alone cryptocurrency. I agree with you on that one. Dr. Nick says that he thinks that the pager bombings have turned the tide within the diplomatic community regarding Israel. And you may be right there, because I saw Japan.
Diplomatic community.
Well, I saw Japan making a big denouncement. Motorola suing Israel now.
Yeah, there's been a couple of stuff with that other partially because of the ICJ stuff. What's been happening is it's now opening up African countries to start suing countries that want to be involved with them monetarily through that, right? So you're seeing that with Germany. You're seeing that they're supposedly going to sue us. I don't know to what effect that will actually have, but we'll see. You know, I just feel like we need that change a little bit quicker. You know what I mean?
If you are of the means and you can hook up INN, we really appreciate it. There's a couple ways to do it. Cash App, $, Indie News Network, co-fi.com/Indie News Network, paypal.me/Indie News Network. I got a nice contribution this morning. Support. And Rumble. We get the Rumble rants also. Rumble.com/C/Indie News Network. Bunch of ways to support us. Substack, INNnewsletter.com is another way to do that. We've been publishing a daily newsletter.
Coming to a Substack newsletter near you.
She hasn't set one up yet this week, but they have been pushing corporate media hard. Golden Monarch says, get INN to Sabby Sabs, Jimmy Dore, and do Dissident's numbers. That would be wonderful. We would love to see that.
Make it happen.
Sure.
Do the doo-doo.
Dr. Nick, let's push INN to number one.
You can do it, baby.
Number one on Kick. Right now, we need 5 viewers. We have 3 live. If we can get 3 more over to Kick watching live, we will be number one in the news category on Kick watching live at the moment. Let's make INN number one over there. Yeah, hook it up. So, all right. I'm going to skip through the Indie Media Award site being refreshed because we're pushing a little later than I wanted to, and I'm going to get right to the Rockfin stuff.
Whatever.
Because we'll get to that maybe if we have time, but I want to get to the Rockfin stuff because this is really important stuff. Maybe I got no shirts. Get one and support INN. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, Anna Mayers. indienews.shop. INDIEnews.shop. You can get yourself a t-shirt.
Yep.
Anna hooked herself up with a How Do We Miss That tank top, actually. Really love you, Anna, for that. And she took a picture, put it up on Twitter. So you can certainly do that. I've got an indienews.network sticker, a die-cut sticker for $6 on my laptop now. Next to the one that my kid gave me that says Top Dad, even though it's in the Top Gun thing. But now I've got an INN sticker. That's the point. So Rockfin, the story goes, we've had a problem with Rockfin the last couple of months. I'm sure y'all have heard that we have been unable to stream to our Rockfin channel /INN for the last few months. We can upload a video and publish there, but whenever we go live, it doesn't work. And a couple weeks ago, I started hearing around that they had some issues with the money and with the Ray tokens that they distribute at the end of the month. And I started getting a little kind of agitated. Like, I think it's time I write up an article about some of the things that have kind of bothered me about Rockfin. And there's some technical hurdles. There's the crypto angle. And now that they're having trouble apparently paying out their creators, what's going on here? So I decided to write, I was going to write one article. And then the more I looked at it, I was like, this really, while they are related topics, to put it in one mega long article, nobody will read it. So I'm going to break it up and I'm going to put it into 3 articles and link it, where the first one talks about, is there financial trouble? Is there trouble in the state of Denmark? And link to the other articles. So we've been using Rockfin. I said the past several years, we've seen YouTube, the dominant video platform, censor and demonetize creators who are critical of the U.S. government's policies on COVID. Safe and effective, safe and effective. My heart swells with pride when I think about the shots. All right.
Very safe. Very safe.
January 6th. It was not an insurrection. It was a riot. I'm surprised President Trump incited an erection, we know, according to Cam, that
yep.
Election integrity, because our ballots are completely secure and there's no domestic influence in our elections. Then there also are, of course, they don't like you talking about how Ukraine might be losing or Russia might be winning, or that Israel is
another fucking war.
Yeah. Or that Israel is murdering Palestinians indiscriminately daily, and a host of other topics, of course. That sent those censored and demonetized creators looking for alternative places to live stream and build an audience. One of the safe havens that served as an ad-free home for the censored and controversial has been Rockfin, a video platform to cater specifically to a couple of niches: amateur wrestling, which is okay, and the censored free thinkers. Now, the reason why it was started for amateur wrestling was one of the founders, Martin Floriani, was into amateur wrestling. So he wanted to create a platform to support that. Yes, actual like Greco-Roman style wrestling.
Well, or folk style, or, catch as catch can, or...
So,
but anyway, I digress.
So the first red flag that happened to me, that started to peak, what's going on here, that something may be going on, is that there were no payments to creators for August 2024 paid out on time. Now, they have since subsequently paid out most creators, except for one notable that I can think of, and that would be me. At least I show no record of it, and I've asked them for it multiple times, and nobody's responded. However, what I'm saying is, alternative video platform Rockfin has not paid out its creators in Ray tokens since the end of August, and this was written on the 12th of September, an alarming sign to say the least. I've spoken with over a dozen creators, and none have indicated that they've been paid since August 23rd. Now, some of them said that they only usually get paid at the beginning of the month for all their stuff because they leave it all not premium. And I'll explain that in a little bit too. And by the way, these articles are available on indiemediatoday.com. And this is still just snippets. I didn't clip the whole thing because there's even more there. And it goes into a lot of the technical stuff that I didn't think that anybody really wanted to see in the weeds. You're free to go there yourself and look at it. All the links will be in the description after the show. Rockfin advised late on September 12th, when I emailed them to ask about this, that, quote, yes, you're correct that none of the money had gone out. The mints and tips haven't been sent out yet, but they'll be processed in the next few days. We're currently in the process of streamlining this responsibility to ensure more efficient handling going forward.
Like you'd think when it's about people's fucking money, like that you would be like, okay, you're not going to get paid this month because yada, yada, yada. We'll have it back up at approximately yada, yada, but we'll keep you in touch, right? Like any of that would be a normal thing to do, but right. Maybe it's just me.
All right. Now, even granted, if they took till the 3rd to pay out, on the 12th, I emailed them and they just kind of acknowledged it without much more than that. As of 2:00 on the 16th, no payments had been received. And within hours of publishing this article, what do you know? The money started popping through.
We're sorry. We're sorry.
We're sorry. Yeah, that's right. We're
sorry.
Right? We're so sorry. But my question is, number one, why wasn't any communication sent out to Rockfin creators about the delay in payout since the first with an explanation? If they knew about it and it took me sending them an email to respond, they could have communicated that to everyone. Number two, I just noticed that the monthly statement emails that we were getting notifying how much the channel earned in tips and viewing time stopped coming in January. Huh, how about that? And then Rockfin also has provided no explanation about the hold up in distributing the value of money that was contributed by viewers and for live stream viewing earned in fiat currency and available to Rockfin immediately as far back as August 1st. Remember, because they pay out for the whole month after the month is over in Ray tokens. They don't even pay out in the dollars that they collected. So they're literally sitting on all of this cash, US dollar fiat cash, and giving away monopoly money in return. That has the equivalent value of $1.10 that's right now worth 91 cents and dropping.
Yeah.
So like I said, I've heard from multiple creators as of 2 o'clock on the 17th, 24 hours later, that they received their Ray tokens into their wallet beginning last night with no further explanation from Rockfin beyond the one we received below, and my channel still has not yet been paid out. Now, here's red flag number 2. According to what I saw, and I could be wrong, when I sent an email to the people that I deal with at Rockfin, including Scott, who was in charge of their crypto, he's a vice president of operations, I got an auto reply email that said basically, for billing payments and admin goes to Matt, and for contracts and partners, talk to Martin. And general questions, support. That tells me that you've got 2 senior executives left. Now, former VP of product Jaime Brugueras, we know he's no longer there. And I'm unsure about Scott or marketing guru Nicholas Veliquet, whether they still work there. Now, Nico House told me that he got an email from Nicholas 2 weeks ago, so I don't know if he's been released in the last 2 weeks or not. I would like further clarification on that as well. Who's still there? My question is could they be setting up to shut down or sell? Like, what the hell? The reduction of headcount, the lack of development on the tech side, and their lack of communication and engagement with their creators in 2024 all indicate that there could be financial difficulties at Rockfin. There's also something happening with a lawsuit, but I don't know if it involves Rockfin or not. It certainly has occupied some of Martin's time and headspace. I will concede the platform has been stable and working okay for the most part, but no new development or fixes have been deployed in ages. I think Bytes was the last thing they put out. That was a year ago. I also noticed that Rockfin has been buying Facebook and Instagram ads vertically, featuring their creators in vertical TikTok style videos, pushing those bytes to generate more traffic to the platform, but they don't really link to the right place, and they don't really go to that video, and the video doesn't go to the full video that it was clipped from. The whole thing works clunky. I said it would be interesting to learn the total in tips plus monthly subscription revenue for 2024 versus their expenses. Are they making money? Are they losing money? Typically, when we see behavior like this, it is not the indication of healthy growing platform pushing to grow revenue and viewers. So I don't know, but I can read between the lines. You know, I got eyes and I got ears. And it's sad because there's a lot to this story. So I've written these 2 companion pieces that try to help explain what's happened and what I've observed. Because basically it comes down to a failure to scale and develop the user interface on the tech side, all right, and address any real tech challenges, while the crypto side has caused nothing but headaches and stress for the creators, all without the viewers clearly aware that the money they tip is given to the creator that they support in crypto tokens, and that Rockfin first takes a cut. What do you mean? Well, I'm going to stop there for a second and ask you again, everyone, to support us and to, if you can, hook us up. These amazing people, a lot of whom are in the chat right now, have done so. Anna Mayers was hooking us up on Rockfin and has paid $100 since April. Okay, just there, not non-there, since there, because she's incredible. We love you, Anna. All right. The one thing is we support an ad-free platform. I want to be on Rockfin. But if they're not going to pay me or they're going to mess around with the Ray token and make it difficult to cash out and get my money out, well, it's certainly not worth it then, is it? What do we mean? So let's talk about let's talk about the technical stuff. And Reef knows a lot about this part because Reef has been as involved in working the INN and Indie Left Media channels since we got them. Reef's been helping and setting up streams and dealing with this crap since day one. And nobody likes setting up a stream in Rockfin. Everybody, it's a headache, right? So my point is that the crypto-based alternative platform, it appears to be in trouble. They haven't fixed INN's live streaming issue for months with no time frame to resolution. And that's just crazy. All right?
Yeah.
I go a little bit back down memory lane. Initially in 2020, it was Richard Medhurst, my brother, the Convo Couch, shout out to Fee and Pasta. All right.
Yeah.
Fee.
Yes. And Nico House, Indie Media Award honorees, all. All right. And several others that introduced me to watching live streams. And I didn't hear that, by the way.
What?
And I thought you played that sound, but upload. Okay, so
nope.
Those folks introduced me to watching live streams and uploaded videos on Rockfin as a YouTube alternative. I actually preferred it in a way. Being ad-free and the lack of censorship about the topics listed above was the best part for me, as well as the community of chatters, people like Anna Mayers and Dave Burt over there, and Laura Baza, and Denver Attaway. And I'm going to shout out our Rockfin audience, Jeff Thomas Black, everyone that's been over there, that I love them. And I appreciate them being dedicated to a free speech platform. All right. The platform.
Well, and I think,
go ahead.
Just to get this out of my head before you continue, like,
Please.
because I've been racking my brain about it. Me and you've had conversations about it. I still haven't fully gotten it together, you know? But I feel like this whole alternative platform thing, while great in theory, the issue is that you can't copy over the wealth of content that YouTube has, which is why people are there and why people check it every day and they look at their subscriptions feed and, you know, they're plugged into that ecosystem. Like, you know, unless you're going for a particular niche on another platform, that content isn't there for you. So you're still conjoined at the hip for it. So it's frustrating because I wish there was something different. But at the same time, I don't think we should give up on like fighting YouTube to be better. You know?
Yeah, well, meanwhile, YouTube is kicking off channels like Red and Africa Stream at the insistence of the federal government. Hotspot allegedly that same thing the last couple of days. I don't know if everybody's heard, but they also got kicked off of Meta and YouTube.
I just feel like it's always like a, you know, free market capitalist solution to a problem that should be easy to deal with if things weren't completely fucked, you know?
But it's not free market. We have a monopoly. There's a monopoly.
I know.
So how do you deal with the monopoly? All right.
Right.
I love it when Sean does that. Sean has the ability to put an INN logo on Kick because Kick lets you do custom emoji. Very cool.
Yeah.
Well, yes. I mean, it's frustrating because, and I hear you about alternate platforms, but we cannot. My alternate platform to me is coming to a Substack near you. They're not trying to censor you. I can get to 100% of my subscribers without having to deal with a gateway or a filter or a news feed or anything else. I can put our message directly into their inbox every time. That's why I'm such an advocate for the newsletter. But I was excited in 2021 as Rockfin grew substantially, adding more creators like Jimmy Dore and Whitney Webb, the two I was most excited about joining. Then they added even more comedian podcasters like Eddie Bravo and Sam Tripoli and other big names. Brian Callen, I know, also is over there. When I started a live stream for How Do We Miss That, when we started this show 3 years ago, it was one of my goals to get approved for a Rockfin account, because Rockfin was almost like a gatekeeper. They don't want just everybody. They don't give everybody a channel. So you kind of have to be referred. It was very opaque as to how you even get a channel. Really, it took a referral from one of the existing creators on the platform to punch someone over there and be like, hey, give these guys a channel already. And thankfully, somebody did that for me. And I did that for several others as well. Over the next few months, you know, Marcus Cage, very famously, shout out to Marcus, friend of the show. When I first got the channel, he said, all right, now you got this channel. What are you going to do with it? I was like, you know, mostly I was just thinking about live streaming. How do we miss that? But then after thinking about it, I can use it as a platform to give other creators who weren't yet on Rockfin the ability to put their videos up there through my channel. And we did that. Over the next several months, I empowered other streamers who didn't have a channel yet to simulcast, give them exposure on the platform. More than half a dozen of those creators now have their own Rockfin channels, and one of them now co-streams his stuff to AM Wake Up every Friday, the Independent Review. INN, of course, was one of those referrals and was approved for a channel in June of 2022, and that had been our primary channel for the following 2 years. And all of our live streams, when we remembered to and didn't have to jump through those unnecessary hoops and remembered to hit the button or whatever, everything was going to Rockfin, at least the live streams. For a while, I was uploading clips there, but the traffic wasn't there, so I stopped uploading clips, and it basically became a live streaming receptacle, ad-free and censor-free, and we don't gateway or paywall our stuff there. I said, I've been an advocate for Rockfin, but I seem to be fighting a losing battle in finding and working to drive an audience there to compete with the viewer counts, YouTube, or even Rumble, right? These are just some of the tech problems that I've personally experienced, and I know firsthand of other creators and viewers who have complained about these regularly, and there's a lot more than beyond what I'm about to talk about. All right, but the view counts are a big thing. Look, why are we doing this? And we're not just doing this for view counts, but man, is it frustrating to work a half an hour to clip up a live stream and publish a clip for 3 or 4 or 5 views, which is literally what some of these videos were getting when I put them out on Rockfin. Part of it is the way that Rockfin marketed themselves early on that drove people away and pushed them away, and we're going to talk about that. And there's a lot of reasons why I feel like that is, but it's frustrating, and I just stopped doing it. I'll push them to YouTube, push them to, I'll loop them on Rockfin, on Rumble, and it's pretty easy to do that. But like I said, in mid-June of this year, we began receiving an error message whenever we started streaming live to the INN account. It would seem like it was working on our side, but then the viewer would see an error message that the video couldn't be shown, some of whom didn't go to another platform to watch, unfortunately, and we just lost those people from watching the show. This is, of course, what it looked like.
Yeah.
Anna is quite familiar, of course, because she kept messaging me like, what the hell? I'm trying to watch this, and it's telling me that your stream's not working. Oh, come on, man. It says it's working on our side, and this was the frustration we had to deal with. We reached out to support, and I had a great call on June 26th with Matt, who is the VP. He's not a VP. He's actually just head of support. He was able to replicate the problem on his side and said that the engineers would work on a fix. I also then pointed out an error with the channel slider at the top. There's this ribbon on the thing that tells you when channels are live, which he said he would also show engineering, but that might and probably would take longer to fix. Okay, fine. But it hasn't updated. Like I updated the channel icon. It didn't update the channel icon for months. That slider is just stuck in perpetuity. As of September 12th, when I published this article, the channel is still unable to live stream, and it's still to this day, 10 days later, is unable to live stream. We've had minimal communication from Rockfin and have heard from nobody besides Matt. Luckily, we have the IND Left News channel as a backup, which we've been using for INN since the end of June. Our audience has contributed over $100 in tips since then, mostly which would have gone to the other INN channel. And Rockfin hasn't paid out on any of it since, actually, it goes back beyond August 23rd. I don't show any record of getting paid out past April 1st. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark. Then we also have that, and this is a big complaint from a lot of live streamers, right, is that their web-based streaming platform, they don't integrate with StreamYard or Restream in order to integrate live chat. So I use a service called OBS, so I can actually put live chats up on screen like this, but and also integrate with Rockfin. Nobody else does this. They're all unable to put Rockfins up on screen. Stabby does it by doing a window capture that Eric produces. She's the only one I know that does that. Reef has a way to kind of Mickey it and show it if he really wants to, but they never integrated with those streaming platforms. So it wasn't easy to show when somebody contributed to your channel and put that up on screen and thank them publicly for it. Same thing with, Cheese Slice over at the Convo Couch channel and Pasta to Go. He'll copy it from Rockfin and paste it on YouTube so he can put it up on as a YouTube thing, but it's not really from YouTube. The reason why they didn't do that, allegedly, according to what I heard, is that Restream and StreamYard want $15,000 a month to integrate your platform into theirs as a one-click integration. StreamYard kind of integrates with Rumble, but not totally. Restream doesn't at all. And we use Restream. So creators can only see the donations through the Rockfin creator panel. They have to use that chat, because not only do they have to use that chat, they actually have to be logged into the creator panel just to go live. All right. And click on this little red button. As soon as I turn on the streaming software, they don't have a streaming software of their own, no web-based platform. And then in their dashboard, you have to click a special button when you're live, and it sees it in order to be able to go live. Again, a lot of technical stuff. I know, I'm sorry. This is kind of geeky, platformy stuff, but it also is important because this matters to all of the people that you watch. All of them mostly are on Rockfin and have been dealing with this nonsense. On the side, occupying a percentage of the space of their time and their attention that could be used elsewhere, and it's not working well. Now, not only has there been a lot of technical stuff that have been rough, they also have had trouble with their crypto. And I've had trouble with their crypto. Golden Monarch, shout out to Golden Monarch, has been writing about what a Ponzi scheme crypto is and explaining different reasons behind it. Initially, I thought Rockfin had a pretty good idea. It's blockchain, it's cryptocurrency, as we know from the smartest live streamer in the business, Graham Elwood. So Rockfin very intelligently decided that they were going to break away from the fiat monetary system.
What did you fucking say to me? Who fucking said this shit in the fucking chat? What fucking idiot said something stupid in the chat?
I don't know who did that. Yeah. So the initial thought was, hey, it's like a stock almost. I'm going to get paid in company stock, and the stock keeps going up. That means the more that the stock goes up, the more my stuff is worth. I'm going to hold on to these tokens because it's just going to keep going up. I believe in this platform. They keep adding more people. They're getting more people to see it there. That's just going to keep going up in value. And if they keep paying me in tokens, well, then when I cash out, I'm going to make a bunch of money, right? Well, that's kind of more like where it went. So I was always unsure of the crypto element. Well, tokenizing videos? Okay. But I wasn't really looking too closely at that early on. I thought the idea could possibly have merit. I believed in what the company was doing with the platform as an ad-free alternative to YouTube. And I saw the RAY token, which stands for Receive Access Ecosystem. Talk about generic what?
What?
But I saw the RAY token as a very small investment potentially. Like I said, if the RAY token kept going up and we had a bunch of RAY tokens, that could help fund this channel, put profits back into growing
It's all about geometry.
You know, at one point in early 22, I actually bought out all the RAY tokens from one creator who shall remain nameless. And everybody makes fun of now, but they didn't want to deal with the RAY tokens. They're on Rockfin. So I'm like, I'll buy them. I believe in this thing and I get it and I use it.
It is Gavin's special living wish to be roasted by his favorite comedians.
Creators are having challenges just in getting paid out. All right. But they do get paid out. And the way Rockfin works, just like kind of like with YouTube, you get super chats, just like you get YouTube super chats. They have super raise. That's a tip contributed. You also get, if your video is premium, you get for any time that people viewed your content, you get paid on. And then whenever you have a premium subscriber to your channel, anything they watch while they're logged in on the platform, you get a little payout in RAY tokens for. So there's 3 different ways to earn RAY tokens through Rockfin. However, they made a change last year that your video has to be premium in order to get paid for the second one, for viewing. And we don't make any of our videos premium. So basically now the only way that we get money from Rockfin is by tips directly that somebody gives to Rockfin in dollars that they then pay us in Monopoly money or RAY tokens.
Show me the money!
They're seeing the money, but we're not. Rockfin's business model is different. A monthly premium user subscription of $14.99 per month, which they raised, by the way, this year from $9.99. It unlocks all the premium content on the platform for all creators. So to me, this is kind of like the medium business model, where you pay a monthly fee and you unlock everything. One monthly fee.
No, they used to give you.
Go ahead.
They used to pay you out. I don't know if you have this in the article. I think you do. Like they used to pay you out per video, right?
On
you
every
put a video up, you'd get a payout.
Video. Yep.
On every video. Then, like I think it was
last year. I mentioned
sometime last year. They quietly, like while you were making streams, it's suddenly if you select the free version instead of the premium version of a video, it's like, well, now you're only going to get money through tips. So to make money for the video, you had to make it premium. And it's like, well, that's not what I signed up for. You know?
And now RBN has made almost all of their content on Rockfin premium paywalled.
Premium, because that's what it is by default, is premium. So
I don't know if they even are aware, right? So that's one of the things.
If you don't change that,
right? If you don't go to the options within the stream that you're making, you don't even realize that it's being made as premium. But I think they know, and that's their choice to make it premium so they can earn some money on the content because it's ad free. Look, everywhere else you watch ad free content. If you want it ad free, they've got to pay $15 or $21 a month to YouTube or $10 a month to Rumble to remove the ads to watch ad free. It's $15 to watch on the entire Rock. Yes, that one. Yeah. So premium content, like I said, can only be viewed by premium subscribers of any channel on the platform. Each creator decides which, if any, of theirs is paywalled as premium. So basically, if you don't have a premium subscription to Rockfin, you can't see any RBN videos on Rockfin. You can see all of our videos for free. By default, each live streamed video uploaded is set as premium, and the creator must manually change it to free when creating their title and description and uploading their thumbnail if they want to bypass the premium paywall. While non-pay, right?
As
while
we were saying,
like I said, while non-paywall content can be viewed by anyone, Rockfin has done a subpar job of communicating that publicly, because for a long time, the platform required anyone who wanted to even view a video to register to the platform first. That's crazy. Thankfully, they changed that, but they lost a lot of people who got a bad first impression and vowed to never use it again. Also, a lot of times when you go, there's like a pop-up window that says, hey, if you want to watch this, you should register, but you're not required to, and click here to continue, and then nobody does. In order to participate in chat or leave a comment, you need to register free with an email address, set up a profile. That's fair. Right? Now, this is what I'm talking about. Fiat currency goes in, but Ray goes out to the creator. So where is all the cash going? To Rockfin. 100% of the money is going to Rockfin. Unless whatever they have to spend to burn the token to issue to their creators every time they do. Viewers and fans can leave a tip. I don't know why that's weird. Can leave a tip in fiat currency using a credit card or during or after a live stream, which Rockfin then pays the creator in their proprietary crypto Ray token after taking a 28% fee off the top. They advertise, oh, we don't take as much as YouTube, who takes 30. We take 28. Thanks.
Right.
At the equivalent market value, they pay out at the equivalent market value of Ray. Now, at the time, the current price was around $1.10 the token. It's already down to 91 cents. So it fluctuates. Now, we can talk
highly,
about,
I imagine.
Not really as highly as you'd think, because they tried to pin their thing to a stable coin of Tether, and what it effectively did was cap the Ray token price at $1.10, according to Steve Poikonen. Now, here's my contention, is that Rockfin never really embraced widespread adoption of the Ray token to begin with, because if they did, I wouldn't be able to ask these pertinent questions. Number one, why couldn't creators with Ray, like me and my wallet, use that to tip other creators in Ray on the platform? If I wanted to tip JB Font or RBN or Sabby Sabs or Nico House or Richard Medhurst or anyone in Ray tokens from my wallet, why couldn't I do that easily? Number two, how come Rockfin never made it easy for the general public to buy Ray tokens in advance and tip their creators directly in Ray? All right. And why didn't Rockfin spend any time educating their creators about the token, how it could be more widely used or easily converted? That's something else we're going to talk about next, which ensured the creators could transact more with it and gain more support for it. It's frustrating. All right, because this is what it requires in order to take a Ray donation at the end of the month, once they actually paid it out in Ray, and get it into a bank account for usable cash that I could buy food with. In order to get paid out in currency that can be transacted, first had to get the Ray tokens from Rockfin into a third-party crypto wallet using like MetaMask or Coinbase wallet. They added MetaMask in 2022. At first, it was Coinbase wallet you had to use. I then had to convert the Ray tokens into USDT, like I said, this is called Tether, or another crypto which can actually be transacted using a third-party company called Uniswap. All right, it used to be a Kyber swap, and then they switched to Uniswap. So I have to use the third party that can transact between Ray tokens and USDT to exchange one for the other. And of course, there's a fee that goes along with that. Then I have to convert the USDT back into US dollars, into fiat currency, which then can be transferred into my actual bank account. Each step carries a fee. Right.
On other platforms,
go ahead.
It just goes right into your PayPal. You know,
and PayPal
or equivalent,
right? Which also can be problematic. Again, I prefer something like even Cash App that can hook up to your bank account and deliver it within 2 or 3 days.
Yep.
That's the easiest way to get us cash is Cash App. Ko-fi is pretty easy because it goes through PayPal, and I can use the money that's sitting in a PayPal account. It's kind of like a limbo between pushing it to my bank account and pay somebody else out from there. Like Zago Brothers, for example.
Send gold to INN's P.O. Box at innpobox.pobox.com.
Something like that. I said, look, like I said, each step carries a fee each time you transact. To say nothing about the amount of time required, the hassle and aggravation and wondering, is this working? It's overly complicated and incredibly costly from a percentage standpoint to get our money out. More than half a dozen creators abandoned the platform over frustration with the crypto process, including people you like Primo Radical. Didn't want to deal with Rockfin. I believe Dissident hasn't been on there in about 8 months. Didn't want to deal with the crypto. Bottom line, getting Ray converted to US dollars as usable cash that we can buy groceries and pay our bills with. Too many steps, too expensive, too time consuming, and Rockfin has not done enough to make that process easier. That's on them, not on us. We make videos. It's on them to make sure we can get paid. You want to be a platform? In spite of these challenges, a handful of independent creators have been loyal, saw the ad-free, censor-free vision, and stuck around. We don't have a big channel there, nor do we make a lot off this platform. However, there are a lot of others who rely on it as a significant revenue stream contributing to their income, and they appeared to be getting the short end of the stick from Rockfin. A day later, our friend the Golden Monarch, who's sitting in chat, Russell's dealing with Bitcoin. Okay, sure, whatever. We'll see. I'll see. We can talk to him about that. But who would buy Rockfin and why is what Golden Monarch asked on Substack on Notes the other day. And I'm like, I was going to answer him, but I decided to write a companion follow-up article the next day. Because there's a lot to why I think Rumble would be the right candidate to potentially buy out. If Rockfin were going to sell, and I don't know if they are or not, or if anybody has approached them, or if they're interested. But if they were going to be acquired, the most likely attractive acquisition target, the company, I see multiple reasons why Rumble could potentially want Rockfin. If they want them at all. So the only logical players with the available cash to take out a competitor are Rumble and Alphabet. Alphabet owning YouTube. I think Alphabet would just buy it, shut it down, and make it disappear just to take out a competitor. I think Rumble might think about doing some interesting things with it. There's also a lot of overlap between the Rumble audience and the Rockfin audience and the Rockfin creators, because you've got a lot of these people who've been kicked off of YouTube are going to Rumble. And a lot of those same people are on Rockfin. All right. So that's also, again, these are all at indiemediatoday.com. Like I said, they appear to be getting the short end of the stick. If you are able to, please hook us up, drop a couple bucks, buy us a coffee, send us some Cash App. I cashed out most of our Ray tokens. I have about $100 or so sitting at Rockfin right now in Ray tokens. Plus they owe me $100 worth of Ray tokens. And I'm waiting to hear back from them. They have not answered me in a week as to why I haven't been paid, but everybody else was. And show me record of where you paid out, how it was done, and when, and give me a statement for the entire year of when you paid me. And they can't seem to respond.
Where's the money, Lebowski?
That's right. Where's the money, Lebowski is absolutely right. All right. I guess we'll get to the Indie Media Awards next week because it's almost midnight already. I'd like to get to boats.
We can always pre-record something or whatever if we need to.
Yeah, we can.
Put it out.
I'd like to do it while we're live with an audience, though. Golden Monarch is saying now Rumble is interested in advertisements and Bitcoin per conference. All right. Rumble be going Rumble-less. Well, they have a lot of Bitcoiners on their platform for sure. I think that I think they're embracing crypto for sure. Look, Trump coin, he just did a thing. it'll be interesting to see what they do and if they decide that they want to get into the tokenization, which is, again, just giving out company store money. If they need a cash raise, it's a good way, like Rockfin has been doing. They've been taking in all the cash without having to pay out any actual dollars. So does Rumble want to do that? You bet they do. They'd love to charge everybody's credit card and then not have to pay out in actual dollars. All right.
Yep.
So
I mean, worst thing comes to worst is that they just sell all their Ray once they have a market share of it, and take it as a loss.
Yep.
Now
I went to the Ethereum's public chain. At the current price the other day that I saw, there's about $4.5 million of outstanding Ray tokens. For valuation's sake, what that might be worth. Maybe if somebody had $20 million and threw that at Martin, he might be willing to walk away. I don't know. I'm worried though. This week coming up on INN, we've already been through 3 of the many shows that we're going to have, but we do have a lineup change, folks. Politically Homeless is going to try something different, and they're going to, instead of going Thursday nights at 9, they're going to try doing it a little bit earlier and a little bit shorter of a show and go Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Eastern. We're going to try this for a couple of weeks, see how it goes, see how it works for everybody around, but they're going to try doing it earlier. We'll still have the Maple Files tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern with Himbo. Yeti is off tomorrow night. You know what? Actually, I think they're going to start at 8:30, not 9. And Himbo is going to have a guest co-host, Tyler Pop from the Fix Collective. He does a lot of spaces on Twitter. He's also a journalist. So Tyler's going to join.
Who's that Pokemon?
Okay. We're going to have a live American tradition on Tuesday night with Jesse. Wednesday night, INN News with Reef and Colin, as we do every Wednesday night, just about. Thursday, like I said, 6 o'clock, Politically Homeless. We'll have Angel in the afternoon, Friday at 7. Yep, Angel in the afternoon, Friday at 7. And then we will have Jesse's Clip Show Friday night at 10:30. And this one actually has the Rockfin logo. I changed that now, and then it's going to have Odyssey instead. Everything syncs to Odyssey from YouTube afterwards. So automatically does that. Next, I had 2 other things. Here, let me go here and do this. Escape out of here. And I wanted to show Shanda's fundraiser. All right. And I need to hit this slideshow off. Shanda's fundraiser. We're up to almost $9,000. Thank you to everyone who's donated. But our friend, our friend Shanda from Beauty and the Boomer, Indie Media Award honoree, is battling aggressive small cell lung cancer. She got a good diagnosis this week that it had not spread to the brain. She's got a rough week ahead with a couple of tests and scans. If you are able to and hook her up with a couple of bucks, please do. If you can't, please share her GoFundMe. Fuck cancer. Help her beat this. She's going to beat this. She's got a huge network of supporters behind her. We all love her and believe in her. And we're going to fight this with her. What I did not get to, and what I wanted to, was the refreshed article of the Indie Media Awards with the Zago brothers, of which we also have Shanda and Oz, and there are Shanda and Oz in that image of the class of 2023. There are 6 categories that I put in this article. There are a lot more there. You can click on Indie Media Awards right there, and that's the link tree. But this is what the Substack site looks like right now. You can see all the individual awards, top journalists, top live streamers and podcasters, top outlets and video creators. By year, we're going to be announcing the 2024 honorees at the end of October, but I went through and updated every page and made sure that it's got a Zago illustration. I updated the links. If you click on, say here, this will go to the CJ Hopkins page where you'll see links to support
Anthony
CJ.
Hopkins.
No, not Anthony.
Yep.
And of course, all of these done by Zago Brothers, and there's a link at the bottom of every page to hook up the Zago Brothers. All right. We support independent media here. We love independent media. These are the people that are making life difficult for corporate media and putting corporate media out of business, and we love them for it. They need our help. They need our support. And this was our way of showcasing who the best of the best is and saying thank you. Please go through these sites.
Check it out.
Please go through this site. A lot of work was put in by the Zago brothers and by Lucio. Big shout out to him.
Man.
Thank you. And again, we're going to go through a lot of these probably next week. I plan to do it tonight, but we just did too many things to get to. Also, INN newsletter. Like I said, we've been publishing one every day. Just letting you know all of the live streams, the premieres, and the articles for that specific day. Today, I actually published the full interview with Eva. I uploaded it directly to the newsletter and emailed that out to our close to 1,000 subscribers. We're approaching 1,000 subscribers to INN newsletter already. Really appreciate everybody signing up for that. That is the best way to get all of the INN content, because we're literally sending out every day, hey, here's what's coming today. If we missed something yesterday, we'll include that. And then at the end of the week, we also send out a weekly update that tells people everything that they might have missed day by day by day. And that doesn't even include the clip premieres. That's just the new articles and the live streams. So much content happening from so many people that put in a ton of work to fight the system. And we do this all on a volunteer basis, on a value for value system, as some other creators like to say. If you see value here
Coming
and
to
you
a Substack newsletter near you,
and you feel like there's a lot of value, you can certainly do that at INN newsletter. And then of course there's my newsletter, which is Indie Media Today. All right. That is totally different from INN newsletter, though once in a while you'll see an INN post cross-posted the clips from How Do We Miss That, the original articles that I write, like about Rockfin and about Jill Stein and the system being the problem and Bobby Kennedy selling his seat. That you'll find here. Live stream alerts for How Do We Miss That. Completely different content. So there's a reason to sign up for both newsletters, and they're both free. But sign up for IndieMediaToday.com as well as INNNewsletter.com. Guest appearances. If I'm ever on another show, you'll see that emailed out to you. Tech tips, everything. That's funny. Harrison Ford. So
you're funny.
So again,
looking.
Check it out. IndieMediaToday.com, INNNewsletter.com. Support our friends at the Indie Media Awards and Zago Brothers. If you can donate, I'm still hooking him up with some cash. And then again, our friend Shanda over with the GoFundMe. If you can hook her up, please do. I think that's it. I think I'm spent. And I'm spent. And now I'm ready to do boats. So I'm gonna go take a bong hit. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. And I love you all. Support independent media. We need it more than ever. Shout out in solidarity with African Stream and Red Media and Hotspot and Al Jazeera and all of the outlets that are being deplatformed right now. We'll do all we can to keep the light on your story and to get others and to rally others to support you and to support independent media. So thank you everyone for being here, and we'll be back for boats in a little bit.
5 a.m. See you at boats.
We are party. Mwah. Ciao, baby.
No! We just fucking lost the stream!
I don't know, the link to that's broken, probably. Something's wrong with that file, probably. Yeah, there's something wrong with that file or scene.